Welcome to day 10 of our 31-day wisdom journey. Today we are talking to the woman who is tired. You're highly capable, highly ambitious, and from the outside, you look like you have it all completely under control. You've built the structures, you manage the calendars, you make the decisions, you uphold the image. But if you are entirely honest with yourself, when the laptop is closed, when you put the device away, when no one is watching, you are exhausted. You've been operating under a subtle culture lie that says, if it is going to be, it is entirely up to me. If I want it done right, I must do it myself. Today, we are breaking open a chapter that serves as a mirror for every ambitious woman, every high performing woman who has ever felt the weight of her own execution, who measures herself against her own perfection rule. Today, we're unpacking Proverbs Chapter 10, focusing heavily on verse 22. The blessing of the Lord makes one rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. If your current business model, career path, or lifestyle is producing high revenue but deep exhaustion, anxiety, and painful toil, you are operating under a system of striving rather than a system of sovereignty. The sorrow mentioned in the scripture isn't just grief, it's grinding. It's self-resilient hustle that strips away your peace. Today, we learn how to step into divine leverage. We've been conditioned to believe that wealth, success, and impact must be purchased with the currency of our peace. We treat sleepless nights and constant cognitive overload as the necessary tax of building an empire. But today, King Solomon presents a completely different financial and operating model for us. Let's look at Proverbs chapter 10. Verse 22, the blessing of the Lord makes one rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. Other translations read, and he adds no painful toil for it. He adds no painful toil for it. If your success is currently costing you your sleep, your health, your alignment, your relationships, then you aren't running on a system of blessings. You are running on a system of painful toil. Today, we're going to break down the architect of sorrow-free scaling for women. Before we look at the ease of the blessing, which is what Proverbs 10 teaches us, we have to look at the prerequisite of systemization. Let's start back at Proverbs 10, verse 4. Verse 4 teaches us. It says, he who has a slack hand becomes poor. She who has a slack hand becomes poor, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. A slack hand in the business environment, it's not just laziness. For high achieving women, a slack hand is a disorganized hand. It's a hand in everything. It's having a business without a formal operating procedure. It's running a household without clear standards, or allowing your schedule to be dictated by the loudest fire of the day, the urgency. Diligence is not synonymous with frantic activity. True diligence is systemic consistency. It's the discipline to sit down. It's the discipline to build. It's the discipline of personal structure that allows your vision to operate smoothly rather than relying on raw adrenaline, rather than relying on impulsive decisions. The hand of the diligent builds a foundation so strong that it can actually hold the weight of the blessing when God pours it out on you. If your foundation is chaotic, if there's a massive influx of success coming your way, it will crush you. Let's take a minute to isolate and rest in the core engine of what this chapter is teaching us. The blessing of the Lord makes one rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. There should be no weeping. There should be no downward face as you walk in the wealth of the blessing. The Hebrew word for sorrow or painful toil is eseb, Etseb. It refers to labor that is exhausting. It's grievous, it's painful. It's characterized by a constant worry and anxiety. And if you are hearing all of who you've been lately, I need you to stay here with me. It's the exact same word used in Genesis when God describes the ground being cursed after the fall. It's what caused the forcing of man to labor by the sweat of his brow, the word says. Now, thank God for the blood, because when Christ redeemed us, he redeemed us from the curse of the sweat. That means that under this new covenant that we get to walk in, we get to operate out of. Under this new covenant of grace, your wealth and your scale are meant to come through divine leverage, not physical degradation. What striving looks like? Striving says, I have to send 500 cold emails. I have to work 80 hours this week to make this launch work. I have to post 5 pieces of content a day. What the blessing says? The blessing says, I will build an elegant, high value, compliant system. The blessing says, I will trust God to position me in front of the exact clients who need my work. The word says your gift will make room for you. You don't have to be exhausted in operating in your gift. Now let me be clear. The blessing doesn't mean you don't have to work. The ant worked. We learned that some chapters back. But the ant worked from a place of instinction, from a place of ease, from a place of system, not out of frantic desperation. When you operate in the blessing, there is a rhythm of grace to your execution. The hours feel like you have more than enough. You're highly productive without feeling like your soul is restless. Why is this transition so difficult for us? Why is the transition of operating in a peaceful blessing so difficult for high achieving women? You know why? Because you're terrified of losing control. You harbor in the fear of peace. You harbor in the fear of success. We have used our worry for so long as a shield. We use it to control and protect ourselves from failure. We find ourselves believing that if we stop stressing, things will fall apart. And that is not the God we serve. Worry is simply a counterfeit form of control. It gives you the illusion that doing something is enough when all you're actually doing is just burning clean adrenaline. In my own journey of reading Proverbs year after year, God had to break this pattern of self-reliance in my life. He had to teach me first to surrender control. He showed me that when I try to be the sovereign CEO of every tiny detail without surrendering, when I try to control it without surrendering the outcome to Him, all I actually do is block the flow of favor that really makes things easy in my life. Wisdom is not automatic. It requires you to stay in this word. It requires you to be present in your life, in your calendar, and in your corporate strategy to God. It requires you to go before Him and say, Lord, I have built the structure. Now I surrender the scale to you. Listen, our circle here is growing, but we are at a critical threshold. We're approaching the halfway mark. And there are women right now in this network, partners, friends, colleagues, who are all successful on paper, but they're dying of exhaustion behind closed doors. This week, on Thursday, we will gather again in a space for you to unpack, for you to share, for you to question, for you to pray, for you to connect with other women who are looking to operate corporately in excellence and deep spiritual sovereignty. I pray that you remain committed to this. If you've missed a day or two, be graceful with yourself, but get caught up. Don't find yourself scrambling behind. Don't find yourself missing the mark. Show up for you. Show up for God. Things do not have to continue falling apart. You don't have to operate from a place of frantic desperation. Be the ant. Do the work. Get caught up on your word. You make time for everything else. Make time to read the business blueprint that is found in this Bible. Proverbs is the wisdom piece you need. That's my word. As always, if the teaching resonated with you today, if it touched and tugged on the tired places in your spirit, there's 3 things I want you to do. Go ahead and hit subscribe or follow. Let that anchor your commitment to continuing to build with ease and shalom and grace instead of exhaustion. The second thing, share the link to the video directly with one woman in your life who needs permission to stop striving for excellence, who needs to receive the grace and joy of rest. And then the third thing, drop a comment below with the word sovereignty if you are ready to let the blessing make you rich without sorrow. I see you. I receive the messages. I receive the prayer requests. I pray over every single one. I believe in your rest. I believe in your calling. I believe that you will walk in the richness of the Lord in the land of the living. I will see you on day 11. Stay grounded, stay sovereign, stay operating in wisdom.